Hello, hello. Hey Jeff, how you doing?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Oh, well, thank you for jumping in and joining.
Yeah, no
So,
problem.
yeah. So for everybody that's joining right now, we have Truly Unreal on, and we're going to be talking about a haunted location today, Goatman's
Yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. So, Goatman's Bridge has a hell of a history. It's got
Does.
a history about a gentleman being given a rope necklace for lack of
Yep.
words I can't use, and by a bunch of individuals that let's see what was the word I decided to go with, the Bedsheet Clan. Uh,
Yep.
now this caused a lot of things going on. People say that there's demons on the bridge. People say that there's the spirit of these individuals on the bridge. What were your takes on it when you were down there?
Okay, so I actually grew up near that bridge. So I've known about it for a long time. And basically the backstory was we want to do something we're familiar with, something that's not too high of a budget to start off. That was our first video we ever made.
Okay.
And we want to bring a unique perspective on it. So we went there with no expectations. And when we filmed the video, actually, somebody came on the bridge and showed us like supposed rituals about how to summon the goat man. I'm assuming back in the day, people were able to drive on the bridge, but now you can't. It's blocked off. You can only walk on. Because a lot of people were saying like if you drive on the bridge with your headlights, you can see him on the other side. So that's that on the ritual. We explored. There was a lot of creepy stuff that we didn't even post in the video. Like I saw trees. I was saying like basically talk. It was like suicidal stuff like on trees. It was very creepy stuff. And we actually filmed another video in the same location. We went deeper into forest, and we actually saw these rituals where a cat died. Like there was a dead cat there. I didn't go any deeper because it was kind of disturbing, so we left. But that was basically a summary of the experience of the
Gotcha.
location.
Okay. And going back to some of what you were saying about the rituals, yeah, and you're right. People were allowed to drive on the bridge until 2001.
Yeah.
And one of the rituals was to honk 3 times once you were on the
Yeah.
bridge. So, did you guys try knocking on the bridge? Did
We
you go
were
through that?
we were underneath the bridge. We did knocks. I also did a knock on top. There was also a tree that was. We were told this tree was the portal to hell. Someone said to come by a tree. We went to the tree. Um, and I've heard other versions of it. There's probably other versions I don't even know about the ritual that we haven't tried. Because we want to go back and do an overnight challenge over there eventually.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, and I now there's multiple ghost hunters, TV shows, individuals that have gone and done Goatman's Bridge. And one of these particular shows, an investigator was thrown 20 feet off camera into some bushes. Did you guys have anything crazy happen? Did you see anything that was completely unexplainable?
Well, on my side, no, but my cameraman, yeah. He was going to tell me more about this because we're about to film uh, something in in Fort Worth Stockyards for a separate thing. But he told me like he couldn't sleep for days after we went to Goatman's.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. He also got like bruises on his side, like in his hip and all that. But besides that, me personally, I I didn't have anything crazy. I think the craziest thing was really the cat. We saw the dead cat. After I saw that, I left. I bounced.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now, are you guys just kind of like urban explorers? Are you paranormal investigators? Do you have equipment?
We don't have equipment, but we actually want to do that. We're brand new on the block. We're trying to do like a different perspective on this because a lot of these videos I see, a lot of them are very similar, and the vibe I kind of get with how we're doing it is kind of like hang out with the boys almost, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's a different perspective into it, and I've seen like you can get all these equipment on Amazon and all these places. We want to do that eventually, but we're taking baby steps on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a paranormal investigator that's been around for a little bit, I welcome you to the field.
Okay.
Of course, any tips, hints you guys need, I would love to help.
Well, I'll ask this. So we're filming. I don't know if you're familiar with this place called Miss Molly's Hotel in Fort Worth. We're going there. I'm literally after this. I'm going there for a video.
Oh wow.
It's basically a. I'm not really sure how the right way to say this on TikTok. A house that people would go to for pleasure. That to a hotel.
Right. Okay.
From like the early 1900s. So
gotcha.
I'm in the biggest bedroom there. I guess I don't have any ghost hunting equipment exactly. Should I bring a Ouija board or what should I do?
So I've always told everybody to really be careful with a Ouija board.
Okay.
As far as equipment goes, when you use a piece of equipment, it has batteries in it. It has its own power source. When you use a Ouija board, you are the batteries. You are the power source. So and that's usually a little more, touch and go. It's a little harder to deal with. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of stuff you guys can get immediately. Do you have any like twist top flashlights?
Oh no. I don't think so. I could look.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because usually people will use those as an example for like kind of the poor man's paranormal equipment. They twist the top till it's real touchy. They put it down, and then if you like hit
I want
the
to
table or
empathize
something.
this. The reason why it's kind of like if it makes money, it makes sense in a way. The TikTok channel just got monetized.
Okay.
We just haven't posted because I do content outside of this, but and the YouTube channel, I think it's almost monetized with the watch hours it needs. So that was kind of like the reasoning behind it, but we're getting to a point where we're going to go to more expensive projects where we go outside. Like, for example, we want to do the Conjuring house. That's something we want to do.
I was just looking at that today.
Really?
Pricing, what it costs, the social media contracts, there's all sorts of stuff for content creators. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yep.
I actually do a lot of paranormal equipment videos, and I'm an Amazon associate, so I actually give out QR codes and links to equipment that gets like discount prices. So, anything you guys are looking at, let me know. And I can send you over some links.
I'll definitely let you know because that's something we're interested in.
Yeah, so and I try to touch on a bunch of different pieces of equipment and not just the stuff you normally see on TV. So it's not always a normal EMF meter. I have something called a hound meter that's completely different than what you see on television shows. And there's a lot of different pieces of equipment you can get from different avenues. Obviously, Amazon's got a really pretty wide variety of stuff.
Yeah.
So, anything that you guys have been really looking at?
No, I don't know anything. I'll be honest. I do that on purpose. I come into these videos knowing little as possible, so I can have the most general reaction. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to have a organic reaction to everything.
Okay.
So
So and that's a good thing. I mean, a lot of investigators actually go in to an area, investigate, and then go back and research later to verify what they found
that's
as actual
yeah,
evidence.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. That pretty much covers it, really.
All right. Where can everybody find your videos and find all of your stuff online? What platforms are you guys on?
Well, we're obviously right here on TikTok, Truly Unreal, YouTube, Truly Unreal as well. That's really it. These videos are really made for YouTube, but they're cut for TikTok as well.
I hear you. So I do kind of the opposite. I take a lot of the videos I do on here, a lot of the lives and stuff, and I clip them up and I throw them into YouTube. So
Yeah, yeah. YouTube is awesome. YouTube is it makes more sense financially on YouTube. Um,
very true.
yep.
Well, awesome. I wish you luck tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your time. So I know this was a bit of a quick interview, but I always appreciate it. And
I'm here for it. I love it.
anything you need, please feel free to reach out. I'm
most
more than happy
definitely.
to help. So
Where you look? You look in LA?
yes, sir.
Okay,
California.
I got my LA hat just for you.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I very
All right.
appreciate the advice, and I'll definitely come forward to you with needing equipment and anything else.
Awesome. Sounds good. So if you guys are ever out in California doing something, let me know. Be happy to help with
Dude,
anything
soon.
I can.
Soon, for sure.
All right. So make sure to find our friend here
Yeah.
on Truly Unreal.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's your name on all platforms.
Yeah, Truly Unreal.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, sir. I wish you great luck tonight. So,
Thank you.
awesome.
Awesome.
And we're
Everyone
see you
have a
later.
good night. Bye.
bye. All right. So, a little bit of a quick interview there with our friends at Truly Unreal. So, you can find them on all their platforms under the same name. And I'll definitely be trying to interact with them and help out where I can, get them started. So, for those of you that kind of go back and forth on our channel, that see some of the videos I post and the lives that I do, you know that Para-Unity is a big deal for us. And I try to help out whoever I can, whenever I can, with any kind of paranormal tips and tricks. I've got 11 years of experience myself, as well as a good kind of grouping of paranormal investigators that we all hang out here on TikTok, talk back and forth, and try to help out the paranormal community when we have questions that are given to us. So if anybody else has any questions they would like to throw down in the chat, so I will be here for quite some time. I usually do a full hour on Saturdays and special events on Saturdays. And Tuesdays we usually do just Paratalk, where we go back and forth between a few of the experts in the field here and just kind of talk shop. So is anybody on that would like to ask any questions or has anything they would like to know about some of the stuff that we were talking about? So as we were talking a little bit, Jeff and his team went to Goatman Bridge. So this is down in Dalton, Texas. Now the proper name for the bridge is the Alton Bridge, which is an area in Texas that no longer exists. The bridge was allowed to be driven on until 2001, and one of the rituals that people actually used in 2001 was to honk their horn 3 times. And by doing so, they would summon the supposed goat man. Now, we kind of breezed over some of the history. How did I find Truly Unreal? So I found Truly Unreal on TikTok. I reached out to quite a few different people. I kind of go through and find topics that I'd like to talk about. And then I search it in TikTok or different social media contents. And I reach out to these people and ask them if they would like to come on and talk to us a little bit about their experiences and things that they've dealt with. So, and I tend to find a lot of really cool people that way. I find a lot of really interesting individuals that kind of talk back and forth with us. It's actually kind of exciting to find out that they're much newer to the whole paranormal community. So being able to help them in some way or another is actually part of what I love doing on here. Now, as I said, we kind of breezed over a lot of the history. Just kind of get the interview going so that they could get going. He's got an event tonight. So you guys will be able to look out for more content coming from Truly Unreal in the future, where they are going to what I believe he said was a brothel turned hotel. So a little bit of the history. There is supposedly a man by the name of Oscar Washburn that is haunting the bridge. Supposedly he is the Goat Man. So for better videos, personally as a ghost hunter, I prefer to have equipment. I feel like equipment is there to help us kind of justify evidence, what's going on in the area, and really give people a way to prove what's happening. As far as content, a lot of people rely on reaction videos and what is more entertaining. So, and obviously there's a way to balance that. You want to make sure that the videos are enjoyable, they're edited in a way that makes them appeasing to the eye. But as a ghost hunter who prefers to get evidence and be able to document evidence, I prefer to have equipment. So I don't know if it makes a better video, but I feel that it definitely helps. Now, as we were saying, Oscar Washburn is supposedly the Goat Man at this bridge. Now, he was supposedly given a rope necklace. We're going to use some interesting words as per TikTok. By the Bedsheet Clan, we're going to be calling them, who threw him with his necklace over the bridge, and upon going down there to find him, realized that he was not with the necklace. They then ran around, burned his house down, and unfortunately unalived his entire family that way. And the legend goes that he now haunts the bridge looking for any clan members and individuals that might oppress others. And that's the general story that goes about for Goatman's Bridge. There's been quite a few different people that have done investigations at Goatman's Bridge. Quite a few people we've seen on TV. Some of the more notable ones are BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed's it was their BuzzFeed Unsolved series that did Goatman's Bridge, and that's the skeptic and believer that kind of go together and investigate all of these paranormal claims. And obviously the whole thing for them is a fight between who's right and who's wrong as far as between the believer and the skeptic. We also have Sam and Colby from YouTube. They were content creators, and they did Goatman's Bridge. And then, of course, we had Ghost Adventures, who did the bridge and had someone thrown 20 feet, supposedly, off camera. Now, obviously, it's not a very large area because it's just one trestle bridge. Now, for those of you that don't know the other myths and legends, the legend is supposed to be that you knock 3 times on the trestle bridge to bring forth Goat Man, or the supposed haunting of the bridge. Now, when you go back and you look historically, there isn't really any historical claims to back up these stories. and has become this area that just kind of is surrounded by folklore. Now, the farther I dug into the history, the more I found this story and other stories that kind of went in the same path. The only other one that we had was a story about some oppressors that had oppressed an individual and had given him a rope necklace, and he was also a goat herder. And that's how they got the name of Goat Man. So thank you for those that are sticking around, helping out. For those of you that don't know, my name is Joshua Amon. I am a paranormal investigator. Tales from a Ghost Hunter is the name I used for my books on Amazon. And those are all true accounts of things I've experienced in the field in the last 11 years. It's also what you can find all of my stuff underneath, my YouTube, Instagram, obviously TikTok, and a few videos that I've done over the years. Also with BuzzFeed, I've done quite a few myself. So if you have any questions for me or about the location that we're talking about, please put it down in the comments, as our friend has prior. So, and then thank you again to Dominic Weston for putting down some comments. I love the interaction, guys. So anything else that I can answer along the way that you guys might have questions to, please feel free. Now, as I said, this is in Denton, Texas. So, and our guest today was Truly Unreal. So, and they are doing another event tonight. Hopefully we're seeing more content from them. You find them on YouTube and all their social media under Truly Unreal. And our guest today was Jeff, the one who kind of handles all of their postings in social media. Now, we deal with anything and everything paranormal on this channel. Like I said, Saturdays we usually do cryptids, haunts, legends, myths. And Tuesdays we do Paratalk, where it's a lot of paranormal investigators that kind of talk, and we talk shop, go back and forth. Is Goatman the only thing being sighted out there? Well, thank you, Bunny. So Goatman is the major sighting on the bridge. The other things that go on around the bridge are all kind of drawn back and related to him. So anything seen on the bridge, people automatically relate to Goatman. There's supposedly a tree near the bridge that's supposed to be a portal to hell. And this comes from the side of Goatman being kind of identified as a demon or demonic presence on the bridge. And as I said, a lot of the stories that surround the bridge about the individuals that were unfortunately unalived at the location all kind of follow the same storyline, all kind of follow the the whole goat herder killed by other individuals, and there isn't really any historical fact to it. Now, unfortunately, these individuals were in a group that would have not been filed as well and kept record of as well as some others. This could be part of the reason that we don't find any information about these individuals having something happen to them at the bridge. But to my knowledge and what we were able to find while researching, I could not find anything to substantiate the claims that Goatman's Bridge was haunted for the reason of the individuals that we had talked about. The main one being the gentleman by the name of Oscar Washburn. So, and as I had said earlier, while talking to Truly Unreal, I'm also an Amazon associate. For those of you that would like to get into ghost hunting, don't have your own equipment but would like to get some, you can reach out to me or find my videos on YouTube. I do a ghost hunting in under $100 video, as well as some other videos with newer equipment, things that people don't see out there. One of which is a piece of equipment called the Hound Meter. And each one of those videos has a link to it. And those links get you it takes you over to Amazon. You get to purchase the equipment there, and it gives you a 20% discount. Again, if anybody has anything out there that they would like to look into, paranormal equipment wise, and would like some help kind of understanding what it is or what it does, again, you can reach out and I would be happy to help. So, and we like to do a lot of community on our channel here. So anybody that needs help or like help, we kind of try to be there or out there to help those individuals. So we're gonna send out some invites to a few individuals here. See if we got anybody else in the area. How would I score this from my own personal opinion? Like, all right. So, as some of you may or may not know, I have a scoring system that I created called the Amonize system. And that will be out with my equipment guide coming soon on Amazon, where I kind of have a whole questionnaire of how you would classify a spirit or an entity at a location. As I have not been to the location, it's hard for me to give an opinion on how I would score something there. It's definitely not a residual haunting, though. It would have to be something between intelligent and inhuman. Based on things that I have seen from other investigators or people that have been to the bridge, it seems like it would be more intelligent than anything. Again, some of the claims that have been put out there for that location aren't on camera, and it makes it a little more difficult to classify when there isn't any proof but just claims from individuals that I wouldn't exactly say I would take what they say as factual. So this is definitely one of those locations where it was a little harder to find a lot of information. I wasn't... Hello, how we all doing, guys? It wasn't one of those locations where it had a long, lengthy history. It just had a lot of claims that hadn't been substantiated and different things that people had spoken about. Like I said, there was quite a few TV shows that went and hit Goatman's Bridge. And a lot of those shows and individuals that went and did that do a great job of upplaying the reactions and the activity or supposed activity on the bridge. Pardon me. Now, do I believe the claims of someone or of an investigator being thrown 20 feet? No. I honestly can't substantiate that in any way. And it was a claim from a TV show, and the gentleman was thrown supposedly 20 feet off of the bridge into the bushes. And now this isn't a very large bridge. It just goes across a small river. It's a one-car lane bridge that was built early 1900s and used until about 2001. But hello, how we all doing today? Hello, Beyond the Strange, how we doing today? We're talking a little bit about Goatman's Bridge. For those of you just joining in, we had someone on earlier under the name Truly Unreal who had been there and had some claims of activity that they had seen, and are a newer individual coming into that paranormal field. So if anyone else has been out to Goatman's Bridge, please feel free to give some information on it. As I said, it wasn't a location that had a whole lot of activity to it and a whole lot of information, history for me to pull up. And it's an area where the history wasn't substantiated and left somewhere for us to go back. So we're going off myths, legends, and word of mouth stories. So, and then all activity that we do know of there is from other groups, other individuals that have been there. So, and as we were talking about earlier, a lot of these people like to upplay the activity, give a little bit more razzle dazzle, you might want to say. So myself personally, I have yet to be out to Goatman's Bridge. I would love to be able to get down there at some point in time. If you guys would like to see an investigation where we go out there and go live and do Goatman's Bridge, put it down in the comments, send me a message, let me know. So if there's any other locations out there you guys would love to see us do, please let me know. I've done a few different places here and there. We did Vulture City most recently. We did Keeler County Jail last year in Arizona. And the year prior to that, I actually did Aokawashi Forest in Japan. Now, I'm more than likely butchered the name of the forest, but I can't say its more well-known nickname on TikTok. Hello, Jason, Ron, David. Welcome to Tales from a Ghost Hunter for everybody joining. Again, we have books on Amazon. We have videos up on YouTube. And we do a lot of lives talking about paranormal equipment, different things that are going on in the paranormal field, as well as myths, legends, and cryptids on Saturdays. So unfortunately, our guests kind of jumped on and off pretty quick as they had an investigation to do tonight where they are going. So hopefully we'll hear a little bit more from them and be able to see what it is they're working on and some of how they're doing in the future as they get a little bit more followers going and things kind of going in that direction. If anyone has any questions, you can put it down in the chat. Anybody has any information, you can put it down in the chat. If anyone has a paranormal story or a location they would like to share, we would love to hear about it. So if you have something you would like to share, or you would like to do an interview here on Tales from a Ghost Hunter and have a live scheduled for yourself, please reach out to me or send me a message. You can also find us on talesfromaghost hunter@yahoo.com. So you can also find some of our videos where we interviewed some other groups. So I did one with FX Paranormal. They make their own equipment and can actually seal spirits. So to see a little bit more about them and what they do, you can find the video or some of the clips of the video on TikTok. You can also find the full interview on YouTube under Tales from a Ghost Hunter. So we also have a few other videos that will be coming up as well. You can check out the Bloody Mary videos where we test the Bloody Mary mirror games. Hello, hello. How are we doing, guys? Hello. So we will also have coming soon the videos for us testing the additional games, all displayed in the Dangerous Games to Play in the Dark book here. So that is by Lucia Peters. So I will be having the Blue Baby playing card game and Sarah Sarita up very shortly, as well as the picture game. So these are all games that we did in one night, and we tested thoroughly all of the different versions of these games and played them relentlessly to try and see if we could get any kind of activity. To see what we caught and if we verified these or not. Again, you can find us on YouTube, and all of those videos will be there. So some of the other videos that we do have coming up as well. We have some funny spoof videos in the works. We also have the videos for the Vulture City, Arizona. So we will be posting that shortly as well. I'm hoping to have a lot of these videos up and running in the next few weeks. So you guys will have some new content to look out for. Hello, hello. For those of you joining, my name is Joshua Amon, and I am the owner of Tales from a Ghost Hunter. Hello, hello. Hey, Nick, how we doing? So my interview ran very short today. So for those of you just joining, I will be posting some bits and pieces of our interview with Truly Unreal. Hey, Nick.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Gotta get my earpiece in so it doesn't echo back.
Gotcha. So for those of you that don't know, Stories in the Cemetery, our friend Nick here, we also did a challenge to see who would hit 2,500 followers first, and we offered quite a few rewards to the 2,500 follower. So you could end up with a series of books from Nick. He's also a writer as well as a paranormal investigator. And you would end up with my ghost hunting guide free of charge. So go ahead and hit those follow buttons, like our videos, help us out, and we'll see who gets to that goal first.
Okay, I'm on. And Josh is killing me, by the way, everybody.
Well, it's slightly unfair to start with. I mean, I was already killing you.
By like 200. It wasn't that bad. So how did the interview go?
It went pretty well. He's got a hell of a following. He's only got 12,000 on here, but he's got over 100,000 likes. And he's on YouTube. He's on a lot of other things, so he's almost monetized on all his platforms.
Yeah.
And it was a fairly short interview because they're not paranormal investigators. They're kind of thrill seekers. So they go around and investigate things and kind of do a... What did he explained it as more of like a hanging out with the boys type investigation style.
Yeah.
So he said they were actually on their way. So he was talking to me briefly before he left to go do another investigation tonight.
Oh. Are they finding
Yeah,
anything?
so he didn't really speak too much about it. They're still working on the videos and getting all that stuff out. Goatman's was one of the first places they did. So he kind of talked a little bit about some of the stuff that happened, something that his cameraman saw while they were out there. So they're fairly new to the paranormal scene. And so obviously I also talked to him a little bit about equipment. Told him if he, wanted to look into anything or he needed any help to reach out, and I would kind of help guide them through
Sure.
what would be best to get,
All right.
So, but yeah, he said it was some kind of brothel turned hotel that they're out on their way to tonight.
I guess I don't know enough about cryptids and how to go about like looking into that. That's why I was hoping to catch part of this interview so I could like piecemeal and pick your guys' brains while listening.
Okay. Goatman's is more, I don't know if it's so much cryptid as it is haunted legend.
Okay.
So Goatman's is, to give you a brief summary, it's called Alton Bridge, but everybody knows it as Goatman's Bridge. It's in Denton, Texas, and it's supposedly the ghost of a man named Oscar Washburn. Oscar was a goat farmer in the area. People used the bridge to go back and forth, and they bought a lot of wares from him.
Okay.
Now this angered the local clansmen, who we're going to refer to as the Bedsheet Clan.
Okay.
Because our friend was not the same as they were, and they gave him a pretty rope necklace and threw him off the bridge. So
Okay.
upon going down to see, him swinging, they found it empty. So they went looking for him, and they ended up burning down his home with his loved ones inside. And supposedly it is his spirit that basically goes after anyone who kind of fits that description of someone who would be like the individuals that harmed him and his family. Unfortunately, there is no records of any of this happening. It is just folklore, myth, and legend. So I don't know if that makes this just a story to scare people in the area, or if it's because of the fact that he was not an individual that they cared to keep files on, as they did that for some individuals in that era.
It could have also been a name change for the story's sake, especially that we know what era it came from, because I find if it's coming from like the early to mid 1800s when there's still a lot of immigration here, the original names would be changed, obviously, when they come through customs to be immigrating to our country. So I have found that to be a true piece too. So it could have just been a name change. I wouldn't be looking for names and dates as I would be the facts of the story.
Gotcha. As far as I know, it was early 1900s, and it was during that time period where some states were free states and some states were not. So, to my knowledge, that's what I'm assuming is going on with that scenario. Is that he wasn't kept file of for that reasoning. The other story that's around the bridge is supposedly predates the bridge, and is a very similar story about a gentleman that was part of the oppressed individuals, and had oppressors. So, but Goatman's Bridge is supposed to have a tree that is also referred to as a portal to hell. And people see some kind of half man, half goat entity at the bridge. And obviously there's quite a few groups that have been there, done that, investigated. Some of our more favored people have been present there. So, BuzzFeed Unsolved did it. Sam and Colby did it. There's a big TV show group that supposedly had someone thrown 20 feet from the bridge into bushes off camera.
Wow.
Yeah. Bet you can tell who that is. Yeah, so I don't know. I something I would definitely love to get down there and do. He said it was pretty creepy when they were down there, and they kind of ventured into the woods and found some ritualistic pieces and animal sacrifice and things like that in the area. So they decided not to go any further into the woods. And then he unfortunately didn't have all the details. Yeah, and he didn't have all the details of what his cameraman had seen.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like I said, I didn't expect him to be so new to the paranormal and this whole scenario because he has such a following started already. But it seems like he's just, they're just a fast-growing channel.
Either that or he's just fantastic at keywords and marketing and SEO.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, but as far as kind of cryptids and the videos I do on Saturdays, I research the cryptid of choice for that week, and I kind of go through the stories, the details, evidence that has been collected on that supposed cryptid, and I kind of weigh in and give my opinion. And I do a little bit of research to try and see if I can disprove that supposed cryptid. So one of the best examples I have, honestly, to date is El Chupacabra. When we did that video and I went through and did that for my live that week, I went through all the evidence, I went through all of the claims, and determined that, in my opinion, it is a, let's see, I have the notes here. It's a type of dog called a Zo or Zoltl. They're a hairless dog, rare in Mexico, and it fits all of the descriptors for El Chupacabra if you give it mange.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you give it mange, it fits everything to a T. The coloring, the smell would follow with the mange. The spines would be whatever small amounts of hair it does have being turned into spines, because hair hardens when they get mange. It's got no tail. It's about the same size as what they claim to see, is about 3 to 4 feet. Dog-sized animal. The pronounced spine would come from the emaciation. So it fits to a T. And that was the claim of a lot of individuals, is that the descriptors all fit perfectly. So at least for my purposes, that's what I do as far as going through those videos for my cryptids on Saturdays.
And when I recommended that podcast to you the other day of Graveyard Tales, they dive into, I mean, you name a cryptid, they've probably covered it. They're probably up to about 400 episodes of paranormal and cryptids, and they go into great detail. Like, they do their research, and granted, a lot of what they do, I mean, it's somewhat funny, and they bring some humor to it, so it's not like just a history lesson. But they might read some of the articles that they're finding, just to try to compare the notes and then obviously give their opinions on what they think is going on. But you would love listening to Graveyard Tales.
Gotcha. I'll definitely look into them. So I'm currently working through your podcast.
How far have you gotten on it?
I think I'm on episode 7.
Okay, yeah, you got a ways to go.
Yeah, because you're at 49 episodes.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while since I
Gotcha.
posted one.
Yeah. Well,
And I
for
think
those...
once you start getting in the 20s, like you're gonna, because it was during COVID. I
Okay.
actually read one of my novelettes, like chapter by chapter. So I just put them in the podcast to
okay.
try to just keep people in, you know. So you'll start to see that. Obviously, if you want to skip over my horrible reading skills out loud, feel free to do so.
Well, for those joining or that don't know Nick from Stories in a Cemetery, you can find his podcast on anywhere that does podcasts: Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple. So he's got almost 50 episodes worth of content, and well, he reads much like myself, and he's getting better per episode, I've heard. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, they definitely get gooder. Like over the time where you get more comfortable over the mic and in front of the camera. I mean, they're not obviously video podcasts; it's just audio. But yeah, they definitely get gooder.
Yeah,
I started
I've done a few of those.
Well, I pay attention to my reviews a lot. So if there's a complaint about anything, like I tend to like want to perfect whatever that complaint had to be. And I found that even some of the like direct messaging from the podcast, I found that people said that I talk too fast and that I rush things. I'm like, well, that's just the way I fucking talk because I'm from Ohio. You know, I can't help the way I talk. So there's like most podcasters, they will actually allow you to slow it down to whatever speed you want to listen on. So I want to say Apple and Spotify both do that where you can actually slow it down. I know Google Podcasts, when they were out, because I know that that's no longer a thing, you could definitely do it on there because that's where I was listening to a lot of my podcasts from, was Google.
I don't know. I talk really fast. And when I do podcasts and things, or I'm talking, I do everything really fast. I actually just got done doing a bunch of meetings at work. And I had to present and do everything, and they gave me a 2-hour time period, and I finished them in an hour. So I relate to talking too quickly. Unfortunately, it's something I've constantly done, and it ends up becoming a hindrance, honestly, on some of these episodes, because I sit there and do a cryptid, and I'm like, okay, I do an hour live every Saturday, you know, and I end up talking through a cryptid in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit.
Well, I've learned that over time, why those episodes were getting better was because some of them weren't always like a blog post ahead of time. Or a chapter in a book that I was, working on. So I just learned to take like very linear notes, and I would have all of my talking points in front of me just as notes, because I don't like to just read off a sheet. Like that's just not my style. Like even my TikTok videos, like I'm not scripting anything. I literally have like 3 or 4 bullet points in front of me to make sure I hit all the points for that 3 to 4 minute video. And that's it. I want it to feel conversational, and that's the way I like to do things. Even my tour, which is somewhat scripted, only for keywords, it's not written down anywhere. I've just evolved it over time for each particular story that I tell. And I also like to see the reactions in front of me too, so that way it feels like, oh, Kathy, this was the reason why the doctor whistles. You know what I mean? Does that make sense now why you heard whistling earlier? I will do that and interrupt the story a lot to interact with the guest.
That's cool. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've been looking into a lot of things. I feel like it's funny, the more I listen to your podcast in particular, the more work I feel like I give myself.
Yep. You're welcome.
Now I'm like, I need to, yeah. Now I'm like, shit, I should look into what the hell is it called? It was one of those like subscription sites where you can create a subscription for people.
Oh yeah.
So I remember you mentioning it. So I don't know, last time we were talking about
like buy me a coffee?
No, it was why can't I remember the name of it? It's not OnlyFans.
I think it was Vimeo.
Vimeo? No, it wasn't
I think
Vimeo either.
I think I had a sub set up on Vimeo for a little while
Uh-huh.
because I was dealing with The Secret. Like that's a whole other fucking topic.
Hmm. Oh, what was it? What the hell was it? It was something similar. It's one of those things where like people sign up and subscribe to your channel kind of deal.
Yeah, Vimeo was like that. And then I had a few episodes hidden on Buy Me a Coffee. Like I would do a quick 5 to 10 minute snippet of the podcast episode, but you had to go to Buy Me a Coffee and donate $1 to get the rest.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. That's
Yeah,
a new
but
one.
you can change it. Like the name of the site is called Buy Me a Coffee. It's kind of like Kickstarter almost, or something along those lines. What the hell's the other one that every other podcaster use?
I want to say it's
Where you
something
can
with a
donate.
P.
Patreon. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like
that's it.
Patreon.
That's it. That's
but
what I
they
was
did
like. I
it
need to
in
look
a
into
for-
Patreon.
But I did it with Buy Me a Coffee because everybody was using Patreon, and I like to be different. And you could change the coffee portion of your like Linktree link to say anything you want, like buy me a ghost, buy me paranormal equipment. You know what I mean? You could change it to whatever you want to, so that way it kind of fits the
Okay.
theme. But as a writer, it worked out with Buy Me a Coffee because I'm a coffee fanatic. So
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, no, what was it? The last live, Tuesday's live, I was joking back and forth with Tammy about us doing a Parafans, do like a paranormal OnlyFans. People log in, subscribe, and then we're like, here's a EMF meter,
Yeah.
and piss everybody off because it's like, oh, that's not what I'm on here for.
I was actually on another platform where I was creating videos teaching, like it was a teaching platform. It was almost like you're creating courses, where I was creating courses on how the equipment worked, and I just wasn't comfortable with it because I felt like it was very scripted. I had a few subscribers to it, but it wasn't like productive for me, so I just kind of like let it go. I still have all the videos, but I just wasn't real happy with the way I would like. Once I discovered TikTok, I was kind of like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. So my daughter turned me
Gotcha.
on to TikTok and said, "Dad, you're a storyteller. Just get your ass on the fucking screen and tell your damn stories, and the followers will come." So
Yeah. Oh, you know what you also could do is I found something called Clapper, and it's
That
kind
sounds
of
dirty.
like TikTok, right? Yeah, no, it's kind of like TikTok. I think they're trying to come up to take TikTok's place. But they
Who's it
had
owned by?
I'm not sure, honestly. I just kind of jumped onto it to see what it was like. But they have a section where you can create like a subscription plan so people subscribe to get additional content from you.
oh,
So and
I like
yeah,
that.
so it's like you create like a series. So that would work perfectly for you to do like the equipment videos.
Yeah, well, I have 4 series going on right now. I have
Oh, okay.
Paranormal Pet Peeves, which I'm up
Yeah.
to 27. I have Spirit Box Listening Methods.
That you lost count of.
Yeah, I think I'm up to 7. I still don't fucking know. And then I have the paranormal equipment tips, and I'm going to start this paranormal inspirational quote thing as kind of a separate series. So that way I got to come up with something else, because I want to do like 5 days a week where I'm posting something relevant to one of my series.
Yeah.
But that my wife laughed at me when she saw my TikTok today. Like she texted me, she's like, "It's about time you started using your degrees." I'm like, seriously? She's like, "Well, we're paying for you to make words. So
Yeah,
She was
that's
funny.
not wrong. You know, you can also share inspirational quotes that kind of follow into like the paranormal field or have like, that people have said currently or prior.
I like writing
I
them.
mean,
I've
yeah,
written.
well, I mean, depending on if you have enough to continue to keep going constantly or if you need like a little bit of a buffer in between.
Yeah, I could see that. But I wrote 3 today, and of course turned them into those little meme blocks or whatever.
Okay.
But I was like, yeah, I can continue doing this. I could do this shit every fucking day and just sit down and write fucking quotes and tag my name on it. I'm gonna have to eventually change it all to Nick Knight instead of Nicholas McGurr at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. When are we seeing that change?
Hopefully soon. I got a few more little hurdles I gotta kind of go through before I can do that.
Okay.
That's on a personal level. You kind of know a little bit about what I've been going through.
Right. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I was actually I was talking to my girlfriend about it. I think I'm gonna do a few videos back and forth with like you know, like from millennial down, my generation and down. There's been a lot of interesting phrases and videos that have come up, and I was like, you know, what would it be like in 50, 60 years when people are ghost hunting that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and give me a sign, and it's like, catch me outside, you know? So I'm like,
catch me outside.
I gotta,
catch me outside.
right? I gotta do some videos on this. I gotta do it, you know, where it's like you listen back to the EVP clip and it's like you go catch these hands.
That's funny. That is
I'm like,
funny.
yeah, I'm like, I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, that would actually be fucking hilarious. Because like I was watching a movie today, a documentary on the Conjuring house, and the guy's sitting there, and he starts laughing because he's like, did I just hear that right? Because it literally says "fuck you," and it's like this drawn out, like gaspy, like "fuck you."
Wow.
And he's like, did I just hear that right?
Oh.
So yeah, so I was just like throwing it around in my head, and I'm like, what would it be like, you know? People are hearing all these like crazy phrases and shit we say now.
Yeah, what the hell would my ghost say?
Right. Right. Like what would my grandkids find ghost hunting, you know?
My God. Can't imagine. I think that's why I say
Right?
"now what" at the end of all of my videos. I'm like, I need a catchphrase. Like, I get real close to the screen and I go, "Now what?" You know, and that's probably what my grandkids are gonna hear. Grandpa just
Right.
said, "Now what?"
Right? He's here. He's here. And I never thought about that. I don't have a catchphrase.
Well, I think it started with the my paranormal pet peeves, where I was kind of like, "All right, go ahead and fuck with this idea. Now what?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, now what are you supposed to do? It works with everything.
Yeah.
My workbook, you know, you're capturing something. Now what? Record it, measure it. How haunted
Yeah.
were you? So that's why I
Yeah.
went with "now what." I put it at the end of almost every video I've posted.
It's interesting. I'll have to figure something out. Yeah, I don't really
Chupacabras
have
aren't
anything
real.
that I say. My girlfriend would be pissed. She's already mad that I told her, I showed her the video, because it wasn't a very long live, and I told her like kind of the gist of it, and she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, what? She's like, you can't take my whole Hispanic culture and just throw it out the window.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you're Cuban. She's like, I'm part Mexican.
It's
So she's like,
Spanish
you just-
descent.
Right, yeah. Oh, see, there she is right now. She don't start. I don't know. That might be kind of a fun catchphrase.
Don't start.
No. She said don't start. She's jumping on and off. She's at work.
My wife is sleeping. Like,
Well, it's also what, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock for you?
it's midnight here. Yep.
Midnight? Yeah, you're 3 hours.
Yeah, she works early.
Mm. I hear you. I'm off today and tomorrow, so I'll be working on the rest of the videos and stuff that I'm doing. I'll probably finish Blue Baby, the Blue Baby video tonight. That's gonna be the only video that had any real, like, actual happenings per se. Bloody Mary, I got little to nothing. I think I got one clip of the EMF meter, like, honestly going off. And I couldn't explain it. Blue Baby, I had it hit quite a few times, which was hilarious because it was really short. And honestly, one of the more stupid ones. Sarah Sarita, the playing card game, and the picture game were all just bogus. So, I pretty much debunked every game that everybody's ever played.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like all of those videos. Are you putting it together as one video?
I'm doing each one as its own. So, like, Bloody Mary's already on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's just one video. So, and we did like 13 versions of Bloody Mary.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we went through all of them. So, and I had my brother come out and help me out, and we went back and forth and swapped in and out, and we did 13 different versions, and I ran like different pieces of equipment. I had the EMF meters out. I had 3 different cameras running. Like, I had my phone, obviously, for the live, because I did it live. Mm-hmm. I had a camera posted in my shower on, like, the tripod, sticking up over the shower to see. And then I had a small, like, GoPro off-brand camera pointed up. So, but yeah, it was honestly a very unproductive night.
But at least now you know.
Yeah, well, I kind of didn't expect much to happen anyway. I am working on a second wave of those videos to do the other games, some of the more intense games. And I think those will be interesting to film because, let's see, for example, I want to do the Black Telephone game.
What is that?
So let's see, Black Telephone, page 126. So I got all of that I bought this book, Dangerous Games to Play in the Dark.
Nice.
So, and it's literally like all of the mirror games and shit that we played as kids, or the stories and things that went around. So Black Telephone game, you have to buy a old rotary phone. And it should be black. So I'm like, I'm down. I'm totally ready to go buy a phone. So this all branches from Thomas Edison's Spirit phone.
I got a story for you. Go ahead. Continue on.
Okay. So Thomas Edison attempted to invent a spirit telephone communication device intended to open a direct line to the dead. The one account of the alleged experiment centered around the device is questionable, but it is to be believed that Edison once gathered together a group of scientists as witnesses to attempt to record the voices of those who had passed beyond the veil. With the aid of a great deal of specialized equipment, this equipment may never have happened at all. What's more, no plans or schematics for the spirit telephone designed have ever been located. But maybe the device was wholly unnecessary. You may be able to accomplish something similar with the regular rotary telephone. In fact, you even might be able to use that rotary telephone to transport yourself to another world entirely. Or at least you can according to this game, which emerged online around the same time as the elevator game and Closet to Another World. There's a catch, though. The phone must be black. Don't attempt to play with a black telephone game with a phone of any other color. It won't work. Then again, if it fails, maybe for the best. Now, this is listed as a high risk level game. It says you must choose a playing field. Game must be played in a building, ideally a house, with at least 4 rooms and a telephone hookup. Must be empty of all other people and pets before you begin. So you're supposed to play alone. Gather your supplies. Need a black rotary telephone, paper, pen, and a pencil. Clock, and a watch or stopwatch. So the 2 pieces of black cord, both at least 16 inches long. So I have black rope already that I can use for that. Wait until nightfall. Take your supplies to the playing field. Set up telephone anywhere in the building. Does not have to be in a room, indeed, in the building, or has only 4 rooms. Should not be in a room, but rather in a hallway. Make sure the phone is hooked up, capable of making and receiving calls. Plays the black cord, paper, and pen or pencil close by. Keep timekeeping device on all times. Once the supplies have been positioned, prepared through the building, and close all the curtains, and otherwise block all windows and turn off all the lights. When you return to the room or area where you have set up the telephone, turn on the lights. This should be the place in the building where the lights are on. Also make note of the 4 rooms nearest to the telephone. So I only have technically 3 rooms I could do this off of, so that'll have to work. Tie one end of black cord to the telephone handset. Tie it tightly. You wouldn't want it to come loose at any point during the game. Then pick up the handset and hold it to your ear. Now make the call. Using the phone's rotary dial, dial the following numeric sequence. 20406080. Then place the handset back on the cradle. Then lift the handset to your ear again and dial the following numeric sequence. 25515823. Do not hang up. The line is connected. Do not respond to whomever or whatever might be on the other end. Gently lay the handset next to the telephone. Go to the room closest to the telephone's location and quietly close the door behind you. Do not make any extraneous noise. Do not make any noise at all. Wait precisely 1 minute. Use the timekeeping device to keep track of the seconds as they tick by. When the minute is up, open the door, exit the room, and return to the telephone. Again, making as little noise as possible. Hang up the phone by putting it back on the cradle. Pick up the handset. Repeat the dialing procedure. So basically you do this and go room to room. And you wait 1 minute each time.
So
Yeah,
what's
it looks
the
like
end
this
result?
continues. So it says, I think when you go into the last room, it says enter the room, close your eyes. Once your eyes are closed, you may enter the room, close the door behind you. Once you are inside, tie the black cord into a loop and knot it off. You must tie the knot with your eyes closed. I'm assuming the other end of the rope gets tied around your waist that's connected to the phone. Oh no, it says when you are finished, hang the knotted cord on the doorknob by its loop. Open your eyes, do not speak, do not make any noise. Open the curtains in the room, look at the windows. What color are they? If the panes have turned black, the ritual has succeeded. You have entered another world. What will you do while you are here? That's up to you. However, it's not recommended that you leave the room. There's no telling what might happen if you do. To return to your own world, take a good long look around the room. You're looking for a number and an 8-digit number. It will be somewhere in the room, but it may not be easy to find. Look everywhere. Leave no stone unturned. When you find the number, use the pen or pencil to write it down on a piece of paper. You would also do well to commit it to memory. Put the paper in your pocket. Then go to the door, grasp both the doorknob and the cord hanging from it. Close your eyes. Repeat the 8-digit number to yourself in your mind. Visualize it if that helps. If you hear a voice speaking to you, do not answer it. Remain silent. Keep repeating the 8-digit number to yourself in your head. If you feel something pulling at you, do not respond. Hold on to the doorknob as tightly as you can. Don't let go. Keep repeating the number to yourself. Repeat it to yourself half a dozen times, as many times as it takes. When you feel the time is right, let your mind fall still, open the door, then open your eyes. Move from room to room throughout your playing field, opening the curtains in each room as you go. If your window panes have returned to normal, you have successfully made the return trip. You have 1 week to burn the pieces of paper on which you wrote the 8-digit numbers, but sooner the better than later. Save the ashes is recommended. Wrap them up in a piece of white paper from the point forward. Carry the ashes with you wherever you go. If you, however, check the windows and they are still black, you might want to settle in for a longer visit than you originally had planned. So basically it's to help you kind of go off to another world, I'm assuming. Yeah. Hey, Mac.
So last week I had a couple on my tour, and they were from California, so from your neck of the woods.
Okay.
And the husband out of the couple was very excited that I did not give him a thermal imaging camera because he would have felt like he was working. So he was also, I usually get like the dragged husband to my events. Like the wife is super excited and the husband is kind of like, this is all a bunch of woo-woo nonsense. So once I get through the explanations and we're at our first actual location, I go up to dude. I forget what I gave him. I think it was just a millimeter, because that usually gives my skeptics a good sense of like, hey, something's happening, especially when they know what a millimeter does. So he proceeds to tell me that he's a fireman, which he already told me about, since he was happy about not getting the thermal. And then he says, I got to tell you a few stories. I'm like, okay. He's like, first off, I want you to know that one of my fire chiefs will not go to one of his firehouses because it's haunted as shit. I'm like, all right, cool. Continue, because I get stories from these people all the time. He proceeds to tell me about another story where that same building where the fire chief wouldn't go into, a lot of it was like, I guess renovated, where they were, just updating a few things per code and whatever. And they took out the phone that hung up on the wall. So as a keepsake and a piece of memorabilia, he took the phone home. He has no landline in his house. Him and his wife lay down to go to bed. The phone is downstairs and starts ringing.
Oh, shit.
And I asked him, I was like, did you pick it up? And the wife rushes over. She's like, fuck no, we didn't pick it up. She's like, are you kidding me? That thing it rang for like 3 minutes. Like, not
Jesus.
like just keep ringing and ringing. It was like ring, 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 ring. Like, it did this for like 3 minutes with the normal pauses in between an old rotary phone style ring. He's like,
that's crazy.
I was like, well, what happened to the phone? He's like, I still have it. He's like, do you want it? I'm like, I'll fucking take it. So he never asked for my address or anything, but he does have my business card with my address on it. So like my digital business card. Of course, I still have their phone number. I got to remember which night that was so I can go back and ask him directly, like, hey, are you serious about sending me that phone? Because I'll pay the shipping. I'll take it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what color it is. And I'm imagining, because it came out of a firehouse, that it might actually be red.
Possibly, yeah.
So I might go through, my messages and my tours and see what night that he was on and see if I can reach out to because I think it was his wife that booked it. I always keep an open line of communication with everybody that comes on my tours. Like I have all their phone numbers saved in my database with the name of the date of their tour. So for you, it would be like Josh 7/28/24. So that way I know what tour you took in case you find something in your set of data. So my phone book in my Google system is just ridiculously long. I mean, I got 5 years worth of phone numbers in there.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you started with this, I was like, what is that black phone thing? Like, I want to know. So, but yeah, I'll pay
Yeah.
the shipping for this guy to, send me this phone that's allegedly haunted. Well, the
That'd be
interesting
really
thing
cool.
about the firehouse that it came out of, apparently there was a children's orphanage or something across the street, and the cemetery for that orphanage is right next to the firehouse.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to look into getting a black phone to do that challenge and try it. Especially because at some point, probably in the next few months, I'm going to be leaving this place and moving.
Yeah, you said that. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm going to do some crazy shit here while I'm still here then.
Yeah.
The other game that I'm going to do here is called the hosting game. So
Okay.
this one is supposed to be it says it's low risk, but basically the way I would have to do it is stand in my living room with my back to the living room and my face towards the wall of my hallway. And you're basically doing this like almost ceremonial thing where you're inviting things into your house to gather for a party. So I would obviously set a camera up at the other end of the room pointing towards where I am to see if anything actually kind of starts to show up anywhere, and I would place equipment through the room. But it's this whole like process of you turn all the lights off and you invite everything to come and join the party, and it says like, oh, you might get a dark visitor that shouldn't be present or something like that, and there's like precautionary like, okay, you're supposed to turn all the lights off or turn all the lights on immediately, or if something happens you turn all the lights on, and you light a match for every like point, and if so many of the matches don't light, then you're supposed to run over and turn all the lights on immediately. So, but you're only allowed to run out of that room to turn lights on in every other room before returning to the original room.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It definitely sounds a lot more work than I really would like to do with it, honestly. But I think it'd be an interesting video to see if it actually does bring anything into, being. I would love to see what actually happens, and that is the point of me doing the videos for the mirror games and all of the dark games to play dangerous games to play in the dark. Is to try to see if I can either prove or disprove each of them. These
I
are some of
know
the
that
scarier ones.
I mean, that last one that you mentioned reminded me a lot of, Black Mirror style ritual that I did decades ago. And that is just one thing that I'm not fucking with again. I mean, at least
Really?
not anywhere in the near future. Oh, yeah. Like, there's not many things that I won't do. That is one of them. Like, I had,
What was
my
that?
kids were small. So I went through the whole motion of, 2 candles on the side of the Black Mirror. I want you to keep in mind, like, my kids were small at this time. Actually, my youngest wasn't even born yet. So my oldest was still a toddler. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and I was just like, the whole part of the game, quote unquote, is to watch yourself age. As far as a Black Mirror goes, well, Black Mirror is also somewhat of a portal to be able to, and granted, it worked. Like I got what I wanted out of it, but I also got a whole fuck of a lot of activity moving around my house, and my toddler of a child speaking to people outside the window wanting to come inside.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it took me 3 days to clear the house. Like, I sent my wife at the time with my child to my mother-in-law's house for 3 days so I can clear the house. Like, took time off work because I could not get the activity to stop.
Wow. What did you do to clear it?
I had some kind of ritual and things that I was doing. Obviously, lots of sage to cleanse and lots of chanting and things going on through the house. But the activity, the more I did, the more activity would occur. Things moving. I mean, I had chandeliers spinning. Like, it was like poltergeist movie type shit. Like, surprised I didn't end up in the TV set like Carol Ann. Like, that's the kind of things that were happening with that particular, like the Black Mirror. I ended up, once I had it sealed properly and where I felt comfortable with it, it went into a black bag, and it stayed in that black bag even after we moved. So when I moved into a house from the apartment, and it stayed. We had a fruit cellar there, like dirt floor, the whole 9 yards with this fruit cellar. So I put it in the fruit cellar, and it stayed there. And then after I moved out of that house, several years later, the house was demolished, and I left the mirror there.
Oh, okay.
So I have no idea where the remains of this mirror are, but you're not supposed to break it and bury it in the whole 9 yards. Like, it went into a cloth black bag to stay sealed, and it just stayed sealed for the entire time that I had it. And I had it for probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years after that all happened at the apartment.
Nice. So you started a horror movie that somebody will put out in a few years.
Yeah, I could write it. First-hand account.
You honestly, you could. That would be a really cool book.
It would.
That could be a really cool book. You know, the mirror was broken and demolished, and new house built, and shards of the mirror were found, and
it's very tropey. Like, it's like the storyline is very tropey.
True, but it would make a horror movie nowadays.
It would.
That's interesting. The only other ones I know that have anything to do with a mirror is like the Three Kings.
Yeah, you know all this game stuff. I don't know what any of these things are.
So the Three Kings, you sit in a basement, and you have 3 chairs. So all 3 chairs make like a little triangle, and you set a floor-length mirror in front of each chair. And you have 3 people, and you all sit in a chair, and you stare into this mirror and basically stare in a mirror until midnight, and then you get up and you leave. And supposedly stuff is supposed to come through the mirror. And you like lock up the door behind you, and you don't go back into the room. I think till morning, until dawn. So you're supposed to be able to hear stuff going on inside the room after you leave it.
Yeah, but that's where people like you and I would set up cameras.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. No, I would do a lot of shit. I'd have equipment set up. I'd have multiple camera angles. I'd probably still be in the room.
You have them motion lights in there too. That string of lights.
Yeah.
What the hell's that thing called? That thing.
Oh yeah, the thing none of us have. I reached out to that guy on Facebook. It's a solid light. The whole strand lights up. It doesn't light up in portions.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the only version that we're gonna get that works that way is from Ghost Stop, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like $180 or some shit. So it's either that or a pair of goggles, same price.
Yeah, that's true. Let's not get started on the fucking goggles, please. I'm never gonna hear the end of it from Tammy. Never. God, I was so irritated that night, man. Oh my God, was I irritated. I so wanted to jump on. She just was not getting the concept of, it was just something new that piqued my curiosity. I was not looking to buy anything. You know, she went out and bought ping pong balls that day, and she fucking put red LED lights in them.
No,
that's
she
me
didn't.
Joking. It's me joking, of course, but you know she went out and said, I wonder if Nick, because Nick's pretty smart, I wonder if his ping pong ball thing would work with cat balls inside of it.
Oh, I should have sent you a video of fucking cat balls taped to my face.
Oh, that would have been hysterical. I was so irritated.
Oh,
So irritated.
I could tell.
Oh my god. Like, I get made fun of by muggles because of my occupation. I don't need my own people in my own field making fun of me, especially those I consider friends.
That's all in good fun.
Yeah, I know. I got it. But I'm usually the jokester, and I don't like to be on the other end of the joke.
I hear you. I hear you. I definitely was. I think as I've aged, I've gotten a lot better about that. Because I definitely was more of the jokester that was like, fuck you, you can't talk to me like that because I'm supposed to talk to you like that. So, but I totally get where you're coming from. I don't usually take the jokes as well as I dish them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm the same way.
That's
Did I
too
tell you I
funny.
found another little workaround for basically the I told you I was using Splice to like, put those videos together, and I was paying for the app.
Right.
It was costing me about $12 a month in order to use the app. But I found that if you have a Google Play Pass that you pay $1 a month for 3 months and then $5 a month thereafter, there are other apps that you can use that do the exact same thing.
Really?
Yep. So I found a little workaround. I was fucking around with all the apps that I use, like how can I cut some costs, and came up with this. Where the hell is this? This way to basically piece all these videos together and not have to pay $12 a month. So I saved like $7 per month. So it just kind of skimmed the top a little bit.
That's cool. I actually downloaded Splice, used it for the free subscription because it was like free for 7 days or something.
Yeah.
And I used it because for some fucking reason my FLIR footage, it came out as an MP3, and it wouldn't let me convert it. Like no matter what I did, it would not convert from an MP3 to a MOV or any kind of video. So I actually put it into the Splice, and it spliced it out, and then it let me convert it. Which I was like, I don't understand why. Like I had to run it through Splice and push all the FLIR footage together, and then it would let me convert it in the free converter.
Oh.
But I was like, what the
my
fuck?
FLIR is kind of giving me a hard time with this right now.
Really?
Yeah, like it came out as like a black screen.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah. Something
Wonder if somebody
going
changed
on.
the setting.
No, I could see all the like the little videos that I need to put together, and they're all perfectly fine.
But that one
when
is
I
coming
go to,
out
like-
black.
Yeah, it's all coming out black.
Hmm.
I wonder if there's any volume.
That's really weird.
Yeah, the volume is there, like the audio to the film, but it's not. There's no visual.
You might have to re-download the video again. It might be just corrupted file.
Let me see if I have my, because I still have Splice for another month, so I'll just use that for right now on the FLIR, because that I know that works great. It worked fine from the my camcorder, like my night vision IR.
Oh, right.
That worked great, but this one with the FLIR just didn't come out right. So I'll just use Splice. 'Cause
Yeah.
I still have it.
And I was looking at my FLIR footage too, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta change the coloring on it.
What do you use?
I have just a FLIR. I just have a FLIR 1, but it was just on like that hot and cold setting. It wasn't on the one that has like the full gradient of colors.
Oh, yeah, I use Lava.
Lava.
Yeah, that's the name of the filter. That's got the
Gotcha.
full range of colors, so white, hot, black, cold, and then everything in between.
Gotcha. Yeah, I do that, but I honestly was just trying to do so much on the last investigation. Um, and then I realized like Kevin, doesn't do this on a normal basis. So like he didn't have the knowledge to do everything with the equipment. Um, so like and I was like I couldn't teach him how to do it and then teach my stepson how to do it and then do investigating on my own on top of that and it's like it became kind of an issue because I was like trying to do everything for them. Yeah,
That's when you need to give them my videos. Here you go.
right.
This is the way we're doing shit.
Yeah, I was like, I need to get the equipment guide up and running so I can get it to them.
Yeah.
So, and then I can make them go through it. I think Tammy's in here.
Tammy?
Yeah,
Who's
I think
Tammy?
Tammy's
I
here.
don't know any Tammy. Hang on, let me get my goggles on. Maybe I can see her.
Oh man, yeah. Mac Attack is on here too. She's been on for the last little bit now. She actually did one of my lives with me when I did ocean cryptids. So I did mermaids and all ocean cryptids as one episode.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we talked about the whole thing that had happened with Animal Planet. And they put out these like documentary based films called Mermaid the Body Found. And
Okay.
dude, it was a whole film, right? Where they scientifically showed how it would work for a mermaid to be present and how the bloodline would, split off and how if humans had gone to live by the water and learn to hold their breath for elongated periods of time over generations, that, it could be possible that they had migrated completely into the water at some point. And so,
Wow.
they provided, all this background on it, right? And all this information. And then they had, this submersible team that was on there. They did, a whole interview on, a TV thing. Showed video of, what looked like a mermaid, swimming up to the sub. And obviously, this was a team that was supposed to be a sub that sat at the bottom of the ocean, and they sit in for a day around areas where people want to drill for oil to provide feedback on whether or not there is wildlife in the area. And they claimed oh, well, we found this video and there's obviously it was a hand, something touched the sub, and this was enough for this country to get involved and say, no, there will be no drilling here for a mile around where this was found. And they presented this all like it was real stuff.
Wow.
So everybody freaked, because we're like, oh my God, somebody found actual proof and Animal Planet put it out. And it was all a hoax. It was all fake.
Ah. That sucks.
Yeah, and so everybody was pissed. Because Animal Planet presented it like it was factual. They put it as a documentary. It was great for if it was turned into a found footage film, but it was so upsetting to find out that it was all fake. So we talked about that. We talked about the city that did the whole mermaid reward because there was a whole string of sightings around this island.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say it was somewhere near Italy or Greece. And the mayor put it out and he was I'm offering, I think it was $100,000 to somebody that could find legitimate proof and bring it. So there was this whole mermaid thing that happened. They put up some statues and everything else. It was a big deal. And I put up some footage about some dinosaurs that were actually sighted. So obviously there's the plesiosaurs, all over the world. It's Nessie. the Ogopogo, Igopogo, Champ. There's a bunch of them all over the place, and they all kind of fit the plesiosaur. Um, what is it? The like description.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the newest videos that's out is actually a mosasaur. So the mosasaur is the thing in Jurassic Park where it shoots up out of the water and it grabs the T-Rex and it drags it in.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That thing. So I was looking into this video because it's a video from an oil rig, and you legitimately see it swim right by in the video footage, and it's like clipped video, because it's an underwater like camera off an oil rig. But it has like all the readings and stuff on the camera and the company name and all this stuff. So I looked it up, and it's a legitimate camera from a legitimate company that actually gives, like it makes products for exactly what we saw the camera used for.
Okay.
So I was like, oh wow, like this is actually looks pretty legitimate. So I looked a little farther into it. Oil rig was near like New Zealand. And there's a shit ton of sightings every year of mosasaurs around New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dude,
so I was like,
crazy.
wow, that's... Yeah, and I was like, this is nuts. And these were like large, almost like reptilian sea creatures.
Wow.
So they're massive. Like these are the creatures that like of nightmares for the ocean. Like these are like things that would eat sharks. And then obviously there's like the megalodon sightings.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
So there's actually another one called the Black Death. And that's supposed to be a black shark. And it's supposed to have like this whole backstory of it being like this evil spirit somewhere out in like Hispanic waters. And it's supposed to be basically like a black megalodon.
Okay.
But that's been cited. That has video. There's footage of people seeing that. There's people that have seen megalodons, taken pictures of megalodons, and gotten sonar waves that read, something that's way too big to be anything else. So
Yeah,
I mean, there's.
I wish I had the time to be able to dive into these things. It just seems like there's so much, and all the detail that's there, and with everything that I've already have going on with just paranormal, not necessarily supernatural / cryptid. I don't have the time to study it the way I would like to.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. It's a lot. Like I kind of like skim the surface of each topic. So every time I do a Saturday Live, I'm skimming the surface of every topic, just getting enough information and maybe somebody to talk on their experiences with it, to make an hour live, if that. So, but it's a lot of information to delve through and go through.
Yeah, it's just too much. I mean, I'm still like wanting to dive into other things right now that are how do I put this? Non-mechanical / electronic pieces. Like I would like to learn more about my pendulums and my spirit boards and that kind of thing. And that's going to take like some coursework, for me to be able to truly dive in the way I want to. But I just because I know Gaia. I don't know if you're familiar with Gaia, the streaming service.
I think I've heard of it.
So Gaia offers it's not like a normal streaming service. It is all like metaphysical and studies of the paranormal and Anunnaki and like ancient peoples and those kind of things. I mean, I'm definitely it's next on my sub list of things that I want to do for business. To be able to, instead of watching a whole season of Survivor in one day like I'm doing these days. I know I'm a Survivor fanatic. I love that damn show. But it is one of those pieces where it offers so much to be able to study in a serious manner. Like it's not Discovery Channel where you might get, ancient mysteries one day and then, different warships the next day. Like it is a whole series on ancient numbers and what do they mean and those kind of things. And it's a full, like I would study it, like have my notebook ready, like take notes while I'm watching fucking TV.
True. We got a question from a Will Hartz here. It says, thoughts on stupid knickers being the best influencers. Will, I need more information on what exactly you were talking about.
Yeah. If I'm looking at any of that as being an innuendo, like I'm like, no, I'm not answering that.
Yeah, I'm not sure or privy to the way he's utilizing those terms.
I'm not either, and I'm not gonna answer it in any fashion, to be quite honest with you. I tend to stay away from questions like that.
Yeah, I that's an interesting streaming service you were mentioning. There's a team. I was telling you the guys, some of the guys from Ghost Hunters, from the last seasons of it, where kind of Grant came back in and he brought in new people. They were on for like 2 seasons and then came back off, but they're doing their own thing now away from all the big networks because they got tired of all the crap that came along with it. And they're on some kind of a streaming service that hasn't made it to the US yet. But they said it's supposed to be coming soon, and it's all paranormal all the time.
Well, see, I think the what gets me about the Gaia paranormal stuff is it's not like watching investigations. It's studying the science of it the way you and I look at things.
Oh, okay.
How does UV lighting work? It's not going to be like I said, like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, where you're watching an overnight excursion. It's going to be more of we did these tests. These are the results and why we think it's working this way. So more of like where the societies, overseas and things like that are studying things in a much different fashion than us Americans. That's where my brain goes, that I want to learn more about it. Like I can't watch paranormal investigations anymore. Like it just drives me fucking crazy. Not that I think like they're doing everything wrong. I just know that it's mainly for Hollywood, and I cannot watch TikTokers doing investigations anymore. I just cannot do it. Again, drives me absolutely bonkers to watch a TikTok investigation.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, when I watch stuff, I'm watching it for the history on the location. I'm watching it for if they're using any pieces of equipment I haven't seen before. And I'm watching it for the location. So, like, I'm not so much watching to see what it is they're doing specifically or to watch how they're investigating. I'm looking for all the factors in it that I can learn from and do something with.
So I do look at a lot of the if I do get into the mode where I need to watch this show because my guests are asking me about it so much, I will watch it for the features of what equipment are they using and how are they using it with other equipment, like how does it best work with other pieces, because that is something that I have to pay attention to.
Right.
Or I did watch what the hell was that show? The one with Amy and Adam in it.
Oh yeah. I watched that series all the way through.
Kindred Spirits.
Kindred Spirits, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Chip Coffey, first off. But I was more interested in their different methods of how they were doing the Estes method because I was just introducing it into my tour. So I wanted to see like the different attributes of like what are they testing? What's working, what's not working? Understandably, they do use a DR60 quite a bit, but I found that their Estes method worked. And I used it for a lot of inspiration for how I designed our Estes methods for the tour. So I did watch that one pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, now their Estes methods did seem to work really well.
They did. So But yeah, I did watch that, and I was excited to see Chip back on screen again. I'm always excited to see Chip, and if you've never read his autobiography, you should. It's fascinating.
That's good to know. I know he's definitely one of the more prominent names for psychics.
Yeah. Well, I was a fan of his when he was working with Paranormal State, like way back when. With Ryan. Ryan, what the hell's his last name? I can't remember. But he's back working again. I was pretty excited to see him. He got in trouble with all kinds of scandal of taking money from the show and whatever. But he's back working again and doing investigations and running events, which he's not back on TV.
Okay.
He's just investigating again, which was kind of nice to see. I follow him on I think it's Facebook.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I actually I think some of the ones I actually enjoy are I enjoy like Brian Bagara and Shane Madej from they did BuzzFeed Unsolved and then broke away and did their own, and it's like The Watchers or something. And they're just kind of fun to watch.
is that the
Shane-
Asian guy and the skeptic?
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah, I
think
like
they're
them too.
hilarious just because of the
Yeah.
like the skeptic part of it is just fucking hilarious. And I'm like, at least they don't pretend to be this like, oh, we're gonna find all stuff. Like I kind of appreciate that he's a complete like skeptical dick the entire time.
I did too.
So I think it's a lot
I
of
was,
fun.
Yeah, my daughter turned me on to them.
Yeah. So and then I watched Sam and Colby for a bit. They got two Hollywood. There's honestly not a lot of shows out there that actually draw my attention to where I watch them all the way through. I do tend to
want a good
watch
laugh-
a lot of.
Watch what the hell is Ozzy Osbourne's kid?
Oh yeah. Jack.
Mike.
Haunted Highway.
Yeah, like he
Was it? He
I mean,
did.
he just blew up
he-
with the shows.
Yeah, he did a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I think I've
it
seen
just
them
seems
all.
like there was a I think after I watched the one where his mom, Sharon, like got sick on one, like I just
Yeah.
can't. I can't. Like I can't tell like what's going on here because I know he's got the money to back this up for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And if I can't debunk it, it's not that it's, going to always be Hollywood bullshit, but for me, I want to be able to see one way or the other, and people's feelings don't usually do it for me.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason
And
I bring
he-
that up and I just talked about Chip Coffey is because Chip Coffey at least keeps it real.
Yeah. You know, I've seen a lot of his shows that he did. Haunted Highway was honestly the only one I think that was really like kind of like spot on. It seemed pretty legitimate. And that was him like starting off, getting into the field, buying equipment, spending the Hollywood money.
Yeah.
I really wanted his drone.
What did the drone do?
It was thermal.
Oh, man.
It was a badass thermal drone.
Nice.
And they took it and they were looking for stuff and they had it running over like a field and they were following something and yeah. He actually had I think Jessica Chobot did the investigations with him on that. And now she's on Expedition X with Josh Gates.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did watch a lot of the Josh Gates Paranormal Unknown or whatever the hell show he came up with, and I actually thought it
Yes.
wasn't bad. But I like Josh Gates. A lot of people don't like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
I love him. I love Josh Gates. He is one of my biggest inspirations for the paranormal field. Because like watching him growing up and watching his show, I was like, you have my dream job. Like legitimately the guy had my dream job. Going around the world looking for myths, legends, monsters, cryptids, and he's done some of the coolest specials. His special on like life after death, like the whole afterlife one he did, that was insane. Like he went to some crazy places in the world, tried a bunch of different things with different areas of the world where, like, it's stuff that can be really harmful or stuff that can really get to a bad place. And he really dove into it and looked into it. And I mean, he's got degrees in archaeology. He has a whole other show that's just archaeology where he goes looking for stuff that was long lost and nobody has found, and he's actually found quite a bit of stuff.
See, I don't know him for all of those things. I think what even introduced me to Josh Gates was I was involved with The Secret. Are you not familiar with this? The Secret is a treasure in 12 different states, according to the book The Secret.
Huh.
It's an interpretation of 12 poems and 12 paintings. You have to match the poem to the painting, and they will tell you what the city is of where these treasures are buried. And it's basically a roadmap if you can figure out the clues. Well, only 3 out of the 12 have been found over the past 35 years.
Oh, wow.
There is one here in Charleston.
Oh.
So when I first started doing tours, the person I was working with who brought me into tourism hands me this book and says, "This is right up your alley. Get to work," because my tours were slow, so I had plenty of time. Well, I dove into it so hard that I was obsessed with The Secret because nobody knows where it's at. And again, the author is dead, so there's nobody on this earth that knows where these remaining 9 treasures are buried. You have to figure out the fucking clues in order to do it. You're about to come up on some of those episodes of my podcast that talk about The Secret.
That's interesting.
I was obsessed with because there's one right here. I have access to go searching. And I will tell you, to anybody that's listening that still might be in the room, that I was actually able to put a shovel to the ground on Charleston property. And that's only because I made a 35-page PowerPoint and took it to the societies that I needed to that owned the land where I believed this treasure is buried. And they allowed me to put a shovel to the ground with police officers.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, state parkmen. And I had to ward off the news teams that were watching me dig on this particular property because, again, we weren't sure if it was going to be there or not.
Wow.
Yeah, obsessed, bro. Like, obsessed. Like,
Did
when I presented... Go ahead.
Did you actually find it?
I did not. But I will tell you that the landowner believed that I was off by about 10 feet. So I have reason to believe that the landowner, and I'm not allowed to tell you like who owns the land, because I mean, I had to sign contracts before they would even allow me to go probe the ground with a stick, and they had to be present. So I have reason to believe that they know where it's at. But the fact, and they corrected one of the lines that I had interpreted as incorrect, and they gave me insight on how to interpret it properly.
Wow.
So I have reason to believe, like, and they this particular part of the city of Charleston is presented with all kinds of ideas about The Secret because it's well known that there is one definitely in Charleston. However, when they called me back because I made this big presentation, like I suited up to go make this presentation. And my offer to be able to be allowed to probe the ground, and I had what the hell's the little camera on the end of the wire? I have one of those. I bought one specifically for this. So every time I probed the ground, my wife was on the ground, army crawling, putting that camera down there and watching the screen to see if I had hit anything.
Wow.
And they were all there watching and monitoring everything I was doing.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to talk about obsessed?
That's amazing.
Well, Josh Gates does a part of his Expedition Unknown on The Secret. And one of those treasures was found on his show.
I'll have to look that up.
I'll send you a link. Like, there's a podcast. There are people literally obsessed trying to find these things. The book was written in 1981. The author died in a car crash, I want to say early 2000s. So what's buried is a cask. So it's nothing metal that can be picked up with a detector. And inside the cask is a key. You're supposed to be able to turn the key into the author, now the living wife only. And the key will in turn get you the gemstone that is associated with that particular city. The harder the gemstone, the harder the puzzle. Charleston's gemstone is a diamond. The hardest gemstone. Yeah. And everybody thinks that it's one specific poem that matches the painting, but my research showed that everybody was using the wrong poem. So I was using a different poem matched up, and the problem that I have now is one of the markers that you use to find where this treasure is buried no longer exists. They took it down during the BLM movement. Yeah. Luckily, I have pictures and everything I need for my research that I use for my PowerPoint presentation still available. I will go back one day. They said I can come back as long as I had GPR, so that way I wasn't digging up the ground anymore. But trying to get a GPR is ridiculous around here. I even got a hold of the geology department at all the universities. They have them. They won't come down and use it.
I want to say there's companies.
They'll rent you one out for like $2,500 for 3 hours. I don't have $2,500 to just lying around to be able to rent this thing out. And it's been like, what, 4 years? That was 4 years ago that I did all that. And I still believe my theory is correct. Like, I spent months picking this thing apart.
Well, I mean, if they thought you were off by only 10 feet, that kind of gives you a grid.
It does. I know exactly what part of the land that it's on. And the only reason I think it's off by 10 feet is because the ground moves here. Charleston is below sea level, which means we get flooded a lot. So even if you go to exhume a grave, you're not getting the right coffin. You have to move over based off of the geology of the way the peninsula works. But yeah, you want to talk about obsession? Like, you gave me words, and my wife, one of her degrees is in graphic design and photography, so I had her studying the artwork, piecing that together. And then the guy that I was working with for tourism is a historian of Charleston. So he was going through a lot of the documents that I was finding and saying, hey, I need you to find something that's relevant to this. It was crazy, dude. Like, that's all we talked about all the time.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
But crazy stuff. Did Tammy leave, by the way? Because I only see 2 people sitting in your room.
Yeah, she must have taken off. I don't know why, but she must have taken off.
She's seen that I was actually speaking. That's why.
Yeah. She's like, nah. She's like, I don't have the energy to deal with the 2 of them today.
Yeah, exactly.
God, that's hilarious.
Well, I should probably get back to work here because I got a lot of typing to do. And I gotta listen to my Spirit Box.
I gotta get back to editing video, so I told myself I was gonna get a lot of shit done this weekend, and I need to stick to it, so I need to get caught up.
All right, man. Well, I will cut you loose. I'm gonna get back to work. I'm sure I'll talk to you in the next couple days.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
For everybody
Later.
else, thank you for being here. Later. So we're all gonna jump off. So thank you, Mac. I know you're probably still there. I appreciate you. So thank you everyone for joining the live tonight. Talk to you on Tuesday.